AITA for kicking my sister out of my house, for telling my husband he's so lucky to be rich. This situation has caused so much tension within my family, and I'm still unsure if I overreacted or not. Here, what happened. My husband's story isn't like many people's. He lost both of his parents in a tragic, preventable accident when he was only 17. They were killed alongside several others, and it was a traumatic experience for him. To make a very long story short, the family filed a lawsuit, and as a result, my husband inherited a significant amount of money. While that money has given him financial security, it came at an unimaginable cost. He didn't celebrate the wealth. He didn't even feel joy in having the money, because it was all tied to his loss. He's always said he'd give up every penny to have his parents back. Fast forward a few years and I met him. We were together for about 4 years before we got married. During that time, I got to know the man behind the wealth. He's kind, humble, and incredibly smart with his money. We've been able to build a stable life together with our 3 kids. Yes, we're very comfortable, but we work hard, and the money is not something we flaunt or boast about. In fact, most people don't even know how wealthy he actually is. Only our closest friends and family know the basic details, that he inherited money after his parents died. That's it. We don't talk numbers and we don't feel the need to. My family is aware of the basics of my husband's past. They know his parents are gone, they know there was a lawsuit, and they know he received a sum of money after it all. But what they don't know, and what I've never shared with them, is how much he actually has. I've kept that private, mainly because I don't want my family's perception of us to change. I don't want them to view us through the lens of money. I want them to see us for who we are as a couple and parents. So, let me set the stage for the dinner that caused all this drama. We had my parents and my sister over for dinner a few days ago. Everything was going smoothly. People were chatting about the usual things: life, work, the kids. Then my sister mentioned wanting to bring her boyfriend to our next family gathering, which led to a conversation about relationships, moving in together, and the things that come with that. They were talking about how serious their relationship was getting, and she even mentioned how they were thinking of planning a weekend getaway together. My husband, who's been to the area they were talking about, chimed in and said it's a great place to visit and that they'd have a wonderful time. It was a casual, friendly conversation. But then, out of nowhere, my sister made a comment that I found shocking. She mentioned how she hoped they'd have a good time, but that she wouldn't have the same kind of money my husband does. My husband, who's a very humble person, downplayed it and said that the trip wasn't anything fancy, that they didn't need to worry about money because the experience was about enjoying the place, not spending a lot. That should have been the end of it, but my sister kept going. She said that since my husband had all this money, the least he could do was offer them the funds for their weekend away. She didn't say it as a joke, it was a serious remark. My husband, trying to be diplomatic, told her that it was a big ask and that she shouldn't expect anyone to pay for their trips, but my sister didn't let up. She then went on to say, well, he could afford to send us for a month if he wanted to. At that moment, I could feel my blood pressure rising. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My sister wasn't just asking for a favor. She was outright implying that my husband's wealth meant he should be giving her money for whatever she wanted. That in itself was frustrating, but what really set me off was her next comment. She said to my husband, "You're so lucky to be rich. I'd give anything to have that kind of money." I was floored. It wasn't just the entitlement in her voice. It was the absolute lack of consideration for my husband's past. The wealth he has didn't come from any kind of easy, happy circumstances. It came from the death of his parents. He had to endure the unimaginable, losing both of them at such a young age, and that wealth came at the price of his grief. But here she was, with no regard for that, just wishing she had his money because she saw it as some kind of blessing without understanding the full weight of what he's been through. That's when I lost it. I snapped at my sister, telling her that she needed to leave immediately. I was done. I didn't care if she was family. That kind of comment was not something I was willing to tolerate. She tried to argue, but I didn't let her. I told her she wasn't welcome in my home until she apologized sincerely to my husband for her cruel and insensitive words. Since that night, my sister has been texting and calling me, telling me that I overreacted and that kicking her out was too much. She keeps saying that I should have let it go and that I was being harsh. But the thing is, I can't let it go. It wasn't just a thoughtless remark. It was a slap in the face to my husband's entire experience. The wealth he has is tied to tragedy. It's not something he's proud of, and to hear someone, especially family, dismiss that and act like his money is something to be envied in that way, it broke me. My husband, being the sweet person he is, told me I didn't need to take such a hard stance. He said he didn't want to come between me and my sister, but I told him that it wasn't about him and me. It was about my sister being disrespectful to him. He's not the problem, she is. Now I'm left wondering if I was too harsh. I don't think I was, but part of me is questioning whether I should have handled it differently. Did I overreact, or was I justified in standing up for my husband? It's been days since the incident, and my sister still hasn't apologized.